And we're good. Alright. You did watch it?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, it's just full of crazy people.
I know. I'll be honest. I got really genuinely pissed off in that part where she's talking about how the geography of the hotel doesn't line up, which is like an interesting topic. But the maps they have in the background keep moving around to weird angles. And it's so infuriating because it moves the text that explains what is where off screen, and you're just looking at a series of colored squares.
Look, I don't want to admit it, but I laughed more than I should have. It's half a comedy, and then half of it's a couple things that are like, oh yeah, shit. Yeah, alright. It's got a tiny...
Then half of them, the other half is things like, can you hear my son?
Yeah. This is my kid's drawings, which is linked to The Shining. I needed to be featured in this.
It's so annoying.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, there's like 2% of the film has merit. And Tom Cruise is there, and it's...
Yeah, I thought that was Tom Cruise.
It was... I think it was clips from another film.
Yeah. It's like... I didn't think Tom Cruise was part of that project, so I assumed that was from another film.
Yeah.
But,
unless Tom Cruise himself is crazy about The Shining as well.
Wouldn't surprise me, he's so intelligent.
Yes. So, we'll get to Room 237. I had that on the agenda for talking about after The Shining. You know, get into the bit of fun stuff later.
Yeah.
The Shining. So this is where all my notes are. Things, characters, fucking everything. So I'll start from start. The opening shot is unsettling as fuck. I absolutely love it. It's like you got this beautiful scenery with the juxtaposition of this haunting music. Like half the movie is owed to the soundtrack. It's very minimalistic in that. It was one of the first horror films with a very minimalistic soundtrack. Like it's you know, there wasn't really key songs or themes you remember, just kind of sounds. Who did the score here? I had it written. Bella
Stanley
Bartok.
Kubrick himself work on it. No, it's John Carpenter who works on his own score.
Yeah, no, this one was Bella Bartok and Herbert von Karajan, I think. I butchered those names completely, but full credit to them, because without them, the movie is nowhere near half as haunting. You know, if you don't have the score at the very last scene or the opening scene, you know, you can place beautiful music over the start and it's not as haunting. But you know,
I'm not gonna lie, the soundtrack slaps.
Yeah, it slaps. Yeah, I love it.
Like, I have the opening song just on my phone, and it's just in my playlist.
Go to a rave. They're like, oh yeah,
Hell
you're not gonna
yes.
put on any crappy music, are you? Nah. And then you just start blaring that, and it's woo. You know, with the like. Remember?
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to go back to Room 237 for a second. Remember the guy who did his impression of the score? It was like ding 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 ding. Oh fuck, man, that was good. I'm sitting there like half asleep watching Room 237 because I was buggered yesterday, and then all of a sudden he did that and it woke me right up. I was like, what the fuck? Oh shit. So, after all the opening score, this opening scenes, I love the way the camera's just gliding around. It's not like you're with them on the trip, but you're something else watching them. You know, but yes, love all that. I love how, slow transitions are supposed to indicate long periods of time passing. Things like that, they made more sense in Room 237, the documentary. Yeah. Little things like that. But there was that. The next thing I've got here is about Stuart Ullman and his paper tray penis and how that's all.
Yeah. I was hoping you weren't gonna bring that up.
So stupid. It's like, see, there, right there, as he shakes his hand, sexual innuendo. What does it mean? I don't know, but it does. See, it kind of looks like a penis.
It means he wants to fuck Jack in the mouth. Who wouldn't?
He's about to fuck his life. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. But the way that the actor himself in the film, he's giving this very like the way he delivers.
Ullman.
Yeah, the actor who plays Stuart Ullman, the delivery and the way he goes about giving the information about what had happened previous and stuff. It's so real. Like, I really buy it every time I see it. Like, that's how a real hotel manager and someone like him would kind of go about saying those things. We should probably, I don't know if, I should probably just give the full disclosure that, we're spoiling absolutely everything. If you have not seen The Shining, please leave now. Watch the full Shining film. You don't need to watch Room 237. There's better ways to spend your time. Just watch The Shining a second time.
You shouldn't watch Room 237.
No. Stuart Ullman's great delivery. Even the way like he's on his elbows and he's got his hands like hunched over. It's just weird. I like it, and I keep I'm trying to talk about The Shining, but I keep thinking of Room 237 because I'm thinking of exactly like the guy who watched it backwards and forwards at the same time, and you've got Jack sitting in the chair, and then it's juxtapositioned with him roaming with an axe in the place. I don't know why the film is sticking with me so much. I should stop talking about it. Can't help it. I'm in a laughing mood now. Because that's a real word.
Yes.
The next scene I've got written down here is the blood coming out of the elevator scene. It's fucking iconic, obviously. Yeah, I love it. I like to imagine it's somewhat tied to the whole Indian burial grounds thing. Not that the elevator goes down to the ground collecting blood to bring it up to flood it out. But that it's somewhat, in some way, that's related to the blood that was shed while they were trying to build the place.
I can't watch that elevator scene without remembering that meme I sent you that other day.
What was that?
Oh, it was the one about the me when I boof a lethal dose of ketamine with shards of glass.
That's right. I remember now. I absolutely love that scene. It's great, and
it's great.
I've got a little bit more to talk about with it later on. When I was rewatching The Shining, I picked up on some other things. Again, I still am learning every time I see it. Something new, and it had to do with that. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I've got some other stuff in the notes. But the next point I wanted to jump to is Danny as a child actor and how fucking good he is. For child actors especially.
He's good.
Yeah, well, especially for the time period and the way a lot of child actors were, it could easily flop. But he did a damn fucking good job. You believe that he's actually like that as a kid, but and then all of a sudden off screen he's just completely cool.
Yeah, he does a fucking epic job.
I think he does brilliant. What about the stuff he does with Tony, the voice Tony? I don't know how much. I mean, for the time period it was perfect, like when it came out, but how much it holds up now. think
Every part of the movie absolutely holds up.
if there's any better way to do it, it just feels a little weird with the finger and all that.
Yeah, that's weird because that's not how it is in the book.
Mm.
I don't know. That was Stanley Kubrick's vision.
Yeah.
It shan't be questioned.
Yeah, I don't know, if I would have done it, it would have been that I take away the finger stuff and that Tony still exists, but he just never has to raise his hand for it with a finger.
Is, he doesn't do the finger thing. Does he do the finger thing in the Red Rum scene? Because I don't think he does.
No, he's got the lipstick in one hand and the knife in the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lipstick? I thought it was a crayon.
No, it was lipstick. Yeah, I rewatched it the other day. Yeah, I watched that Thursday, and then I watched Room 237 last night. Yeah, it's... I don't know, like... I get it, and at the same time, I think it would be scary if Tony's just this voice that lives inside of my stomach. You know? I like that more than the idea that he, is his finger. But at the same time, when he uses the finger, you need that because as soon as the finger goes all the way down, that signifies that he is left. And it is just Danny. So it's...
Yeah. It's a good visual indicator without actually showing the inside guys.
Yeah. Like this...
Which I feel like would be a little weirder.
There's little to no way to improve this film. I'm trying to find somewhere that any flaws, and it's very fucking difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit too much, but at the same time, there's so much fucking shit that happens in this film. It works. Without it, it doesn't work as well. Hey, nothing's an accident. Shelley Duvall's miserable performance is amazing.
Yes. Shelley Duvall is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. As Wendy, she fucking kills it. I can't believe...
Yes.
I had next to this about how Shelley Duvall was up for a Razzie nomination along with Stanley Kubrick for making the film. That blows my mind. And in case anyone out there isn't familiar with Razzies, that's like the lowest, like winning an award for the worst performance and the worst film and directing and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know you know, but just in case anybody else doesn't know what a Razzie is, that's what they're meant to entail.
Absolutely. It baffles me that people back in the day didn't like this film.
Well, I think it's because a large audience was not used to ever seeing a film like this before, where it kind of really had to make them think. I can imagine, you've watched Indiana Jones and you're watching Jaws, they're straightforward. And then The Shining is just such a unique piece. I think a lot of it was that when people first see it and you don't know what you're in for, you can understand why a lot of people walking out just go, I don't get it. I don't understand. And now with time passing on, we've learned to appreciate all that. But I like it, eh? I liked it after I first seen it. I love it even more every time I see it. But yeah, it blows my mind that Shelley Duvall was going to get a Razzie for being miserable. And the point is to see him miserable and shit. And all the stuff about how many takes they would make the actors do. Even if they had the shot, they would... yeah, I'm pretty sure you're aware of this. They had to just do takes over and over and over.
That scene when the black guy is talking to Danny. They did that scene like 100 and something times, and the guy who plays fucking I forget what the black guy's name is.
Mr. Halloran.
Yeah, Halloran.
That's how I remember. I don't have the actor's name written here, but he did great.
Yeah, he fucking had a mental breakdown, and I don't know how the child actor was able to fucking put up with that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well, I
he's a
heard.
champion.
Yeah, well, I heard for the most takes when I heard about all that stuff. It was around the scene on the stairs where Jack's
Yeah,
approaching Wendy.
I, yeah, I think that was
It was like 120 something takes, and they would do it
mm.
over and over. And there was rumor that Stanley Kubrick was harassing and really treating Shelley Duvall like shit on set.
I don't believe that's a rumor. I'm pretty sure that's just a fact.
Well, it's here or there, kind of. Still, nobody knows, but no one wants to confirm or deny anything. But whatever it was that was happening on that set worked. It fucking worked.
I'm pretty sure Shelley Duvall confirmed it in like an interview. She mentioned it.
Yeah.
But she did mention that it was because of that they made the best film that they could make, and she doesn't, hold it against the guy who harassed her for weeks, if months.
Yeah,
How
shit.
long it took to shoot the film? Probably fucking years.
Yeah. Well,
The amount of takes they got.
yeah. It worked. Whatever they were doing, it fucking well worked. But yeah, she's miserable in the best way. The whole film, she seems distraught from like the opening scenes where she's smoking and stuff, and with the
Well, she doesn't seem that distraught in that scene. She
but
seems
more
quite
that
cheery.
She's hands kind of shaking with the cigarette and stuff, like
Yeah.
with the context of Jack yanking Danny's arm. Like, it's not a well built family. That she's always very when she's talking to the I'm just gonna say the doctor. I can't remember what she's there for or her name.
I think
Sorry.
she's a pediatrician because Danny had like a seizure, I think.
Yeah.
Which he does. That's just Danny being Danny.
Yeah.
But Wendy was kind of concerned about it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So she got a pediatrician in.
But yeah, man, does she see some shit in that fucking film at the end and stuff? She's the only one that's sane, basically, up until the last 24 minutes. Then it just flies off the handle and she sees everything. But so I've got all these notes, and then in between some of the bigger notes, just looking at like Shelley Duvall's performance and stuff. I've got scenes as I was watching the film. So the next one I've got here is the one where Danny's playing darts, and goes up to collect the darts, and that camera does that real quick zoom, and then cuts to the two girls.
I love that.
I love that scene. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm probably gonna say that every time we're seeing this film. I'm just gonna say I love that scene.
Yeah. Oh, I will too. I will gush. This film fucking earns it.
Yes.
But obviously that's a Minotaur on the poster.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. It's a skiing Minotaur.
Yes. I can't believe the general audience could not figure that out sooner when finally buying the DVD that, hang on, that's a Minotaur! Honey, have you been taking your prescription today?
And also, my child mentioned a dream.
Yeah.
That sounds tangentially related to that guy.
Just crazy.
That one guy who says, great party, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. But that was a bolt of lightning, keep in mind. But yeah, that scene, I love the zoom and how it's just that tight shot on Danny, and it's not cutting because you're like, well, what the fuck is he looking at? But
it's like, it lingers on him for about like half a second.
Yeah.
Before it cuts to what he does see, which is the Minotaur poster.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing else was there, just the Minotaur poster, and he knew it right then and there.
He knew the symbolic importance of it.
And what it meant for the rest of the film. He's like, holy shit.
Unlike
that Minotaur is gonna, like, give some guy a head by the end of the film. Like, it's just gonna get weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, I've got Mr. Halloran, which we were talking about briefly. Um, yeah, I love the scene he has with Danny that we very briefly mentioned earlier. How you said there was a lot of takes of that. How you can tell, like it's a brilliant scene between the two of them. You know, you're scared of room 237, aren't you? You know, and you can just the way the editing is done and how long it holds on their faces and stuff. It's just I love that one.
Would have been pretty epic if that guy actually gave a fucking straight explanation to Danny.
Yeah. I suppose he is a kid and he doesn't want to, you know, tell him that shit's fucked up, don't go in there. But yeah, attached to that, I've also got the editing, and Ray Lovejoy was the editor of the film, and my fucking god, it's just, you know, you can have a great director, or you can have great actors, but you need a whole cohesive team to really make a movie work. And like when you have the score done as well as it is, you know, the director, the acting, and then the editing, the way the editing is done, because I don't think the editing ever gets talked about enough. And like I've got the scene.
I mean, we were just talking about the editing. Oh no, we're talking about the camera work.
Yeah, but
it's kind of editing the way it cuts.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of my favorite scenes in the whole film. It's where it's just zooming in on Jack's face, you know, and the way it holds there and stuff like that. The editing and how that's juxtapositionally like chopped with his family out in the snow prior.
Yeah.
You know, and how, you know, that combination of the editing and the sound to make the scariest thing in the film when it's like Wednesday, done. Oh fuck, shit, Wednesday. Jesus, not again.
I hate Wednesdays.
Not again. Monday, 4 p.m. Fucking, ooh. I always get fucking goosebumps when it gets close to 4. You know, it's intense. But you know, out of everything that should scare you, that should scare you the least. So to make that the big climax to every scene, you know, and you know, this film is just never-ending tension. The whole thing makes it so fucking good. It's just this build and build and build, and it just never fucking stops. But yeah, that scene of Jack Torrance staring, and you can see, like, because I look real closely at the eyes and the lips and everything that's happening every time in that scene, and there's like a split milliseconds where he almost smiles for a second, his eyes move, and then like, or his eyebrows do something, and it's just, you can't tell what the fuck's happening, you know. And the scene, it's not just there because you gotta remember, nothing's a fucking accident, especially with this guy, you know, Stanley Kubrick. That, why would you put that there? What is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean the power of a hotel is just starting to like take over his fucking mind, or, you know, what's happening?
The thing is, like, it's a criticism that Stephen King himself had of the film, that Jack in the film didn't really seem like he needed the hotel's help going crazy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is unspoken.
I mean, like, because it's implied that Jack was already an abusive father because of the whole arm pulling thing, which may or may not have went down how she said it.
Yeah.
Because you can see the doctor that she tells that to is very visibly concerned when she hears about that, because that's like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
fucking.
This whole film's great. It's so good. I love watching it.
And yeah, there is the theory that, you know, the hotel's not actually haunted at all. Because like, there are lots of parts of that theory. Like the fact that nobody sees the same ghosts at all. Because that butler that Wendy sees isn't the same butler that Jack sees, which I originally thought watching the film, but, you know, upon rewatching.
Yeah, no,
it's not the same guy.
it's definitely interesting. Well, Jack, we never ever see Jack see um Grady, like, prior to being in the hotel and stuff, like in the paper itself or
But
anything.
he claims to have seen him in a newspaper, which lines up with what he said earlier when he says that he'd heard the story about the guy going sicko mode on his family.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, very, it's very good. But
but
I,
then there's also the thing that every time Jack is talking to Grady, he's looking at a reflective surface,
yes.
um,
Yeah. No, that's interesting as well.
like a mirror or just a shiny bit of metal.
Yeah.
So it's possible to interpret that as him being fucking Tyler. Him talking to Tyler Durden.
Yes. Now that's a theory no one's come up with. Um.
I am Jack's hatred for my family.
Shit. Just keeping with the theme of the editing and the music being cut together, there's another scene I have here, and it's when Jack's typing and Wendy's slowly approaching him, and the music is just high. The orchestra is just going for it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts as soon as he just finishes typing and rips the paper. That's not terrifying at all, but the music says otherwise. It's trying to trick you into, you don't really know what the fuck to think. It's I really love that scene as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for anybody that's still there, we're pretty much just gonna say I love that scene for like the remainder of, another hour or something. Yeah.
I'm fine to keep doing that.
I am. But like a scene like that, it shouldn't be scary or tense or anything like that. But they go out of the way to constantly build tension with no big scare, and that fucking you're on edge all the time because the music's always there.
Yeah, okay.
But it never.
We just dial it back a bit because we were talking about how Shelley Duvall does a great job playing Wendy Torrance.
Yeah.
And we did whatever kid did a great job of playing Danny. I think his name is Lloyd in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not fully aware, but we just didn't even mention the fucking Jack Nicholson does so good playing hero of the story.
The hero of the story. I think that's a bit debatable. It's going to go from a friendly podcast to a violent movie fight here. I don't necessarily think that he's meant to be portrayed as the hero of the film, but if you like to take it that way, I suppose you can. Maybe you've gone a little bit crazy with him. Maybe the hotel's convinced you too.
No, it's just I respect the hustle.
You respect the hustle. I just had the mental image of him swinging the axe into the fucking door. I respect the hustle. The hustle. It's great wording. You worded that one right. The hustle.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Ah, shit.
But like, I just love the scenes where he's talking to Wendy. Because there's the one at the typewriter.
Yeah.
And there's the one at the bar, and there's also the one on the stairs, and I love those three scenes.
Once you start to get the fuck out.
Even more than I love all of the other scenes.
Yeah, there's some brilliant stuff. Brilliant. What else did I have here?
Because, and it's also great because you just see Wendy, she's like, what the fuck? Why did he just say that? That was so unreasonably rude.
So, the other notes here, we've already started jumping ahead with stuff, which is good, but the next one was the amount of takes and shots, it takes for these actors to get these things right, or the amount of shots that Kubrick put them through to make them the way they were, you know, because you're slowly making Shelley Duvall more miserable. You know, if you've got to do like a crying scene and you're upset, and you keep doing it, well, you know, your eyes are going red and you feel exhausted emotionally. And with Jack, at least for Jack Nicholson, I would imagine he's getting more fucking crazy with every fucking take. He keeps doing it and getting crazier and then less crazy. You know, he doesn't know what Kubrick wants him to do. You know, is that take good? No, we need to do it again. I need you to try this now. You know. So by the end, when he's like, "I'm gonna bash your fucking brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in." You know, he's done 120 times. It's good. It's really effective.
No, like it's even people even said that even the right take, the one that ended up getting used in the film, wasn't the last one most of the time.
No, I know.
Stanley Kubrick kept doing them, and he was like, I reckon, I reckon we've got like 600 takes of this 12-second scene. I reckon I could pull some usable footage out of this.
It's just like, you know, I'm gonna have to just cut some of them together, some of the takes together, because you couldn't just get the 12 seconds together yourselves, even though they're probably all fucking same.
Brains.
So the next thing I got here is any improvements to the film, you know, and we briefly touched on this earlier, that it's almost impossible to, but if I were to change anything, you know, or attempt to, just to see how it would play out differently, would be to not reach out to the outside world as much, like the radio and talking on the radio, you know, Wendy with the guard or whatever, and, you know, stuff like that, to just not reach out as much, to really keep the audience as isolated as the characters are in the film. You know, to really feel like you've got no way out of this. You're stuck here with them. You know, even with Mr. Halloran's trip, but that's a bit different. I mean, again, that one's like a catch-22, whether it's a con and it's a pro, just like with Danny's finger and stuff. That if you take Mr. Halloran out of it and he just shows up, then the death's kind of, you know, pointless. It really feels, you know, it doesn't have that weight to it, but cutting back to him all the time, like, fuck, we need you to get there, and building him up as, yes, he's actually going to get here, he's going to save the day, he's actually going to fucking help this family, you know, and it's like, fuck, he's just gotten out there, right as Jack's going off, we're not going to let history repeat itself, to then, just bang, he's fucking dead immediately, and then immediately the audience is like, what the fuck's going to happen now? They're fucked. It's brilliant to watch it the first time and experience. I mean,
him coming did still help, because he brought a vehicle that Jack didn't sabotage.
I know, and so
it wasn't again for nothing.
Again, it's a bit of a catch-22 with, like, oh, you don't want to show the outside world, but you do for Mr. Halloran, but just to try and.
I mean, that didn't bother me so much. It did bother me that Halloran knew that shit went down and didn't come prepared in any way. Because in the book, he brings a fucking gun. He brings a gun. He's there to kill Jack.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, it's only because Jack takes him by surprise that he doesn't shoot Jack in the book either.
The next thing I've got here is the twins, the girls, being chopped up in the hallway. The scene where Danny rolls around. That was epic. Yeah, it's a great scene. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if the whole watching the film backwards and forwards and seeing Jack with, like, clown makeup has any merit at all, but the scene itself, again, you've got to hand this one to the editing, you know?
Yes.
You could have...
And the camera work.
Yeah, the camera work as well. To have things just far away enough that you can't clearly see in detail what's happening, but you can see them at the end of the hallway that they're there.
Yes.
And then, you know...
It's even harder for me because I wasn't wearing my glasses. I could fucking barely tell what I was looking at.
Oh well, then you're on no ground to talk about this film. You couldn't even see it. um.
Yeah, something like that. That must be why I didn't see the Minotaur.
Exactly. See, you just don't understand. Okay,
Yes.
that's it. Um.
Yeah, but that scene with the girls was actually the first scene I saw of The Shining.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember I was at a friend's house, or I was at a friend's house, and it came on, or like what I think like our mums were watching it,
Yeah.
and then I came into the room and it was that scene, and I just saw it's like okay, there's just these two little girls, and then it just cuts to them being
Just hacked up.
cut to them being all cut up, and that just shook me to my fucking core, and I didn't sleep all night.
Yo, I can't imagine being a kid and seeing it. No.
I was like super young.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 at most.
Yeah, well, since we're on the topic of first seeing The Shining, you obviously know, and I'll just restate again that my first experience, I was raised around the fucking Simpsons, and like watching it at 6 o'clock on TV every night. God, I miss TV. Back when it was good. But
yes.
And being raised around that, I'd seen the Treehouse of Horror episode parodying The Shining, and that's The Shining.
Yeah, we mentioned it briefly. In the episode we talked about Shining a few days ago.
And so I couldn't remember all the jokes from it and everything it was parodying, obviously. But what I did take away was just the story of a guy going insane and hacking up his family in a house that's isolated. So when I hear The Shining, and before I'd ever seen it, it was like I have a good idea of where it's going and what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I went in and nothing was really spoiled for me. But then going back and rewatching the episode of The Simpsons, you can clearly see all the little things like Maggie stacking blocks that spell out red rum and things like that. You know, Mom, is Dad gonna kill us? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's the spirit.
Yeah. But otherwise, I hadn't seen it, and I heard it was fucking awesome, and I watched it as soon as I was, old enough to have a brain and developed one. I would have been 14, 15, something. I went on a spree of watching horror films. I watched all the Saw films. That's something I surely regret. There's a lot of those fucking movies. I liked them at the time.
Yeah.
Looking back on them, it's like, oh wow, shit. So yeah, that was my.
I'm pretty
experience.
sure the only good Saw film, based on what I've heard, is the one I've seen, the first one.
Yes, the first one is fantastic. Absolutely love the first one.
The first one is so good.
It was made by two Australian blokes.
That's epic.
Two Australian blokes. One of them was James Wan, who now has directed one of the Fast and Furious films, the 7th one. He directed Aquaman. He's big now, but he started with Saw. And him and the guy who plays Adam in the film, he's the other bloke. Him and James Wan were like, hey, to the studio in Melbourne, and they were like, here's the script. And they were like, ha, fuck off. No way. And they were like, alright, fuck it. We're just going to make it on our own.
I've got a creepy looking basement in my house.
Yeah, well, they basically were like, fuck it. Let's make the movie on our own with no budget. And so you can really tell how, starved they were for proper effects and even the puppet and the way it looked.
Yes.
A lot of the edits, even down to the sets, it being just kind of one room, the whole film. But it's almost got a little bit of an indie feel to it, in that, it's just no backing. It's a small film that fucking succeeded, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got 7 sequels. That's how
7 dozen, what feels like.
Yeah, Saw, Saw 2.
Let's get back to the other
Yes, yeah, let's.
horror movie that starts with an S. We can talk about Saw another time.
What, Shark Tale?
We should absolutely talk about Shark Tale. I've got some things to say.
Scary film, not The Shining. So yeah, after
Will
that,
Smith fish.
Look, as you just
I'll never
stated,
get
let's
that
get
image
back
out of my
on.
head.
Let's get back on topic. Oh god, I'm seeing him dance in the water and rapping and shit. Oh. Okay. Jack Nicholson. This is his movie.
Yes,
I don't think
absolutely.
you would ever have had the same effect that this film did if he didn't do the role. Can you imagine if someone else was acting in that role and did it? Like, would it have anywhere near as much of a massive impact that it did? You know, even with the...
because it wasn't him in the Stephen King version of The Shining that Stephen King made, because he didn't like Stanley Kubrick's version. It wasn't the same actors, obviously. And it was awful. So I guess that
well, so say,
helps
changing...
your argument a bit.
Well, if the actor was as well known as Shelley Duvall, would it have been anywhere near as good? You know? Like the line, "Here's Johnny," when he says that, apparently that was improvised on the spot by him.
Yes.
You know? So, without...
It's a fucking ballsy move to improvise something around Stanley Kubrick.
Well, even like the little pigs thing, apparently that was improvised as well before it smashed the door in. You know, and just doing takes over and over. I imagined he did all sorts of crazy shit. I'd love to see a lot of the footage of them just fucking around on set. Like, oh well, Stanley Kubrick fucking around on set. No one else is having a good time.
I don't know if this is a fact, but I heard it. I heard that he would have people rearrange the maze set while people were in it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
He's not a great director, he's a cunt. Camera's not even rolling, just rearrange the maze. Yeah, I want to piss everybody off that works with me, because I'll get the best film possible.
So all the maps that he gave to the people inside the maze were wrong.
I love to imagine he's like, here's the map. And then he's like, alright, you guys go.
Yeah,
Stop moving walls around.
That asshole knows full well that those maps are not going to be worth the paper they're printed on in 5 minutes' time.
Wait for them to walk in. 5 minutes later, just call the 5 or 6 guys from the set over to just start lifting walls and turning them around and blocking shit off.
I remember hearing a story that he got lost in the maze.
And that's called karma. It's like, fuck. I've been ensnared by my own trap here. Shit.
Yes.
But it's fucking amazing director. He's one of the best I've ever seen. Fucking breathtaking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could say that sometimes he's a man with his head in the clouds. Typically, mainly at the start of the film, in the opening scene, his face is in the clouds.
Yeah, that one, fuck, that was stupid. It's like, see, you could see it. You could see it right there, and I was like...
I could see what he was talking about,
I
but
couldn't. I'm like...
it wasn't... I could make out what... I could tell it was what he thought it was. If you can't find it, I can send you a picture and I'll give you a little red circle like he should have done. But,
I think he's fucking insane.
Because this is the same guy that mentioned the Stuart Ullman raging hard on. So he is fucking insane. That's a good assessment of his.
So it's not enough for him to have like his name credited 5 times in those blue opening credits, but to then say, no, I want my face airbrushed into the clouds. Everyone will know Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know about that. That's a
but-
bit of a fucking stretch.
I could see what he was talking about, but I'm pretty sure one, it was just a coincidence, and that's what the clouds look like, or two, the footage was fucking doctored. Because
Yeah.
because I haven't taken the effort to compare the footage from the actual footage from the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's not Stanley Kubrick's face in the film.
Yeah. Well, the way I interpret Room 237 is half these people are fucking insane, and then there's another half that kind of have some interesting ideas. But that I look at the film like it's just a testament to how good The Shining is, to have people go that far and that deep into it, that it could mean the fucking Holocaust, faking the moon landing, like all of history itself. It's like, that's insane. It's such a stretch.
I love how that guy is talking about faking the moon landing, just as if it's a fact that the moon landing was faked.
Yeah.
Or like as if that's just something you're supposed to, take for granted when he's talking. It's like, he doesn't have to explain that part of his theory.
Yeah.
He just has to explain the fact that for some reason NASA hired Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Presumably knowing full fucking well that Stanley Kubrick was such a perfectionist that when he faked the moon landing, it was shot on location.
Yeah, you said that the other day. That was brilliant. Yes, it is faked. He had to go all the way to the moon to make it look legit.
Yeah, to get the right shots.
Get the right shots, just to get those right angles. The next thing I had here is starting to move a little bit into theories and stuff, and just some ideas. I reckon the moment he says he would give his soul for a beer, that's when the hotel has him. I reckon he goes from a real man deteriorating, having his son sit there. He's still, Danny's father, and like, what, did your mother say that to you, that I would hurt you? Just kind of getting a bit of cabin fever to entering the gold room. At that moment, that's when he starts hallucinating. He's seeing people. That's when, like...
Yeah. I bring up the book again, but it's something that's a lot more clear in the book that when Jack is under, like, the spell of the hotel, he is acting the same way that he used to while he was, like, an alcoholic.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it a bit more on the nose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't
Stephen King
read
is a
the book.
fucking hack. And he's an awful author. I hate almost all of his books.
Yeah. He's inspired some pretty cool shit,
that's
though. I like
for
this
another
film.
time.
We wouldn't have it without him.
And the It miniseries.
I love the It miniseries. We'll have to talk about that sometime.
It's so good.
I know.
I prefer it over the new film.
I like both.
The new films are no fun at all.
No, I reckon they're a lot of fun. Like, I don't even view them as horror films.
They're
It's
not
like,
as much fun.
I mean, not as fun as...
Tim Curry. Yeah, Tim Curry.
He
was the
fucking
best
owns it.
Pennywise.
Yeah. But yeah, he goes from a man deteriorating to, like, because he's been getting angry and trying to work and trying to write, to then he chills out, like, straight after he's had that drink or whatever. Wendy's like, hey, there's a crazy woman here in room 237 or whatever. It wasn't you. And, like, Jack's chilled. Like, he's not flipping anymore. Like, that's when the hotel's... It's got him.
Yeah.
And I think that what happens is that the hotel preys upon people's flaws. In that it's set up Danny being hurt again to then, push Jack in that direction. And then the alcoholism. And, like, it's...
That's why Danny and Wendy don't go insane, because they're fucking Mary Sues with no character flaws.
I think it's that, like, not that the hotel knows, but for whoever is staying in the hotel, they know themselves better than anyone. Their own flaws of being, like, projected against them with that whole mirror thing and stuff like that. That it picks apart those things. So I noticed it was those key things about Jack. It started picking apart to basically expose him, to then have him give himself to the hotel when he's talking to Lloyd at the bar. But that's
You're
what I
always
reckon
one of my
happens.
favorite, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Because that line also is something that I wanted to bring up, because he says that the first time you see Lloyd, which like implies that, you know, you were always the caretaker here.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. I love that. I've always been. I love that scene.
Yeah.
You are always this caretaker here, Sporticus.
I just imagine Sporticus's face stone cold, just, you know, mustache and jaw kind of dropped a bit. The caretaker! Yes, Mr. Sporticus. You've always been the caretaker. I'd sell my soul for a damn apple right now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was just a reference to a conversation me and Blake had a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the Lost podcast. I still have it.
Yes.
And I'll release that. I'll tell you what, I'll release that at 100 subscribers. We get there, then I will put it up. So there is some...
Time to make some bot accounts, people.
Time to make some bot accounts, people. Alright, you 7 out there, there's only 7 subscribers as of when this goes up. You need to start working. Alright? If we work together, we can make this happen. And I will, when we hit 100, that'll be the next podcast. It'll go up straight away. The Lost podcast.
Yes, boys. Let's go.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, ever since like that scene at the bar with Lloyd, he just changes. He's no longer that because there's always like when you just watch it through, you go from him, you know, around in the snow with a fucking axe, and then go back to how the fuck did he get here? It's been less than 2 hours and that whole fucking transition has happened. Where was that point? That's where I believe that point was, and I only kind of clicked with that the last time I was watching it. But again, it's just my own fucking theories or thoughts on it, and I thought that was interesting.
Okay, because if I remember correctly, the scene that comes immediately before that scene in the bar is the scene where he's on the typewriter and he's like screaming because he's having the bad dream about him murdering his family.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's where I feel like the hotel's kind of like baiting, but it can't take him unless he gives himself to the hotel.
Yeah, because he seems genuinely, you know, horrified by that, and startled. But then it's when the old sperm bank keeps bothering.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
That's a line from the film, by the way.
Yeah.
For anybody watching.
So, yeah, I got all the stuff about what I thought meant. The next thing is the bathroom scene with Grady and Jack. It's great.
After the butler, it's an asshole and just tips custard on him.
Yeah, it's custard or something.
Yeah, you saw that. It's fucking weird. It's like a viscous yellow liquid.
Yeah, it's like yellow custard. That's what it looks like. But it also looks like that crossed with baby food. Like, it's weird.
It's fucking.
These are the real
ass.
things we have to think about in The Shining.
Maybe that's what rich people drink out of champagne glasses at the party.
Like,
just do shots of
baby
custard.
food is fucking amazing. Oh, I hit the spot. Baby food with alcohol.
Yeah.
Can't get any better.
That sounds like something some fucking crackhead would consume. Fucking mixed baby food with alcohol.
Yeah. So the bathroom scene. I reckon. I love the editing in that scene as well, where it's just those back and forth cameras between the two and the very long pauses. It's effective. You could slowly see, like, it getting into Jack's head, and like you know, even Jack when he kind of like has his head down and he's smiling, like, you know, like this is all fucked up. You were the caretaker here, you know. And...
yeah. There's one part of that scene that fucking cracks me up every time, and it's when Grady says that Daniel has contacted somebody from the outside world, and then Jack's like, who? And then Grady says,
yeah,
an N-word, and then Jack says, an N-word? And then Grady replies, an N-word. They just say it. Like,
yeah.
He just... And then
an
they
N-word?
just continue with their
an
conversation.
N-word cook. Oh!
Yes, an N-word cook.
It's like, whoa. Shit.
It's like, okay. Which makes sense, because Jack probably didn't meet Halloran. Like, they interacted very briefly when Halloran came into the gold room. But then Halloran took Wendy and Daniel, and then Jack went off with Olman.
Yeah.
N-word cook.
N-word cook. Whoa. The all
That's
work
heavy.
and no play makes Jack a dull boy line.
Yes.
I do not know or can't recollect what it was in the book. Do you remember?
No,
I
actually,
haven't read it.
I don't, because I know that the all work no play thing was made. Oh, it was the film, I believe. Maybe it was in the book.
I know they were
I
different.
got the fucking book sitting. Yeah, I got the book sitting in front of me.
Awesome.
But I mean, there's 3 different Stephen King books here, and they're all like fucking however many hundreds of pages each. So I'll look.
I'm sure there's 200 pages that just repeat saying all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a little, just a little, kind of a tidbit on how much the book it just fucks around and does nothing. Chapter 37 is the ballroom scene.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man, that's a lot of wasted time. How long are the chapters?
Chapter 37 is on page 216, so it's probably only like 3 pages a chapter, but the writing in the book I've got is pretty small, so they're kind of long. Like, they're not long, but they're kind of, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big book reader, otherwise this channel would be about book reading, but we're not doing that. More exciting to talk about The Shining. But yeah, I remember there were 2 different lines, and I remember the one from the book being more effective or more on the nose than the one in the film. So keeping with we were just talking about the line of all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. After Wendy's found all that, and then Jack moves into frame behind her, and then says, "How do you like it?" Even though Wendy is jumped and fucking startled and shit because he's there, the audience isn't. It's another example of, like, Kubrick not...
what the character's seeing and what the audience seeing being not the same.
Well, they very easily could have just cut to him saying, "How do you like it?" and scaring the audience too, you know? And relieving that tension. But it chooses not to. It scares Wendy, but we don't get that jump. The music stays there. It's just that never-ending tension the whole film. And so you're always on edge, on the edge of your seat. And it's just
also
enthralling.
gotta respect how that wasn't, like, all that pages and pages weren't copy pasted; they were actually typed out.
Yeah. But it's just another example of how it never stops, and you never feel at ease. You know, you'd think, oh, that's the scare that he's there, you know, but then because we already see him, it's not jumping to us, and then the music stays there, and it keeps getting higher and higher as they're walking around, you know. My responsibilities, all that, just keeps swelling and swelling. You know, and then when you're like, okay, she's knocked him, that's the end of like the tension, but then it's immediately he's waking up as he's being dragged. It's like, oh fuck. You know, it doesn't let up.
Yeah, okay. I just found a website. The scene doesn't appear in the book because nothing like that happens in the book. Because in the book, he is just writing an actual thing, an actual story. But it's a story inspired by the Overlook.
Yeah.
So it, you know, winds up being a bit fucked up. But,
yeah.
I believe in the ending, because in the ending of the book, Jack neglects the boiler, which must be illegal because it has to be tended to twice a day or the entire hotel will explode in the book, which
Jesus.
is such a massive design flaw that I can't believe anyone would go there. Like, I can just imagine somebody staying there and they're like, oh, it was great fun. The hedge maze, the ballroom. Something that did concern me, though, was that if one alcoholic didn't do his job twice a day, everybody in the hotel would have burnt to a crisp. But like at the end of the book, Danny runs back into the burning hotel and grabs his father's manuscript.
Oh yeah.
And then like he keeps that for whatever.
Wait,
probably going to profit off of it.
my crazy father who tried to kill me. I gotta go and get his work.
Well,
Risk my life.
The book, he was in the book he was a lot more redeemable. Because it's very clear in the book that he doesn't want to hurt his family. It's the hotel making him do it.
Yeah. That's
so
another thing I love about the film. It
makes more sense in the book that Danny would do that than it does in the film.
Yeah, I just love that about the film where it leaves so much up to your own interpretation. It doesn't spell it out for you. Nothing. You can't tell whether the hotel's possessing him or it's just an abusive father. You don't fully know anything, really. Yeah, it gives you a lot, but at the same time, you don't have any concrete answers for anything.
You know, the book does not leave room for interpretation.
Yeah, and especially
the
with
only
horror.
Thing that isn't made certain is how much cocaine Stephen King was snorting while he was writing it.
Yes, yeah, no, yes.
It's somewhere between a lot and fuck tons.
He's a fucking dropping acid before every fucking day of shooting.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out well. The next note I got here, this harkens all the way back to the start when I was talking about the blood elevator scene, and I had some stuff later here. Every time before Jack goes off, it cuts to the blood elevator. And I don't know if there's some sort of meaning to that, but I only really picked up on it when I was watching it Thursday. Is that the blood of, in the burial grounds, all that stuff?
I believe it's actually every time Jack's going off, Danny is having a seizure.
That's what I'm saying. He has like a seizure, then you see the blood elevator, and then Jack will go off.
Because that leans into the theory that there are no ghosts, but like they're on ghosts, but Danny's shining ability is real.
Yeah.
And he is projecting these images to the other people in the hotel. Because, I know Danny does see the girls, so I don't know. I guess he projected those
Yeah.
images to himself.
Yeah,
But
Hmm.
in the book, Danny sees Tony as a vision. Like, he sees him, the actual guy.
Yeah.
And, so, but then again, there are actual ghosts in the book.
Yeah, it's... I like
And
the
then,
idea that there are some supernatural elements in it. It's just what exactly those are that can be left
yes,
up to interpretation. But yeah, I like to link the blood elevator to Jack going off. It's like that's the hotel showing him, like, hey, this
yeah,
blood is fucking on our hands, and it'll like be on yours for not doing your job and keeping everyone there. And like, it's Wendy
yeah,
comes in and she's like, hey, someone in room 237 or whatever, they tried to strangle Danny. And then he's calm, like, what? Or he says, are you out of your fucking mind? when she first finds him. And then
I always found that funny because the alternative was her blaming him for it.
yeah. Yeah. But it's
And
when he's in his room, and then she comes and she's like, someone tried to strangle Danny and stuff again. Or well,
yeah,
like Jack's like, I think he did it to himself. Like, he's calm, and then it shows the blood elevator scene, and then he's like, do you have any idea about my responsibilities and stuff? Because she mentions, I think we should take him to a doctor. Then the elevator scene.
yes,
Then he loses his shit, and it was like, okay, it's kind of cool the way that's all done, but it happens multiple times. That every time before he goes off, it shows the elevator. And I like the idea of it somewhat being tied to the Indian burial grounds more than anything, and that
yeah.
the hotel's got some sort of haunting.
Because that thing that Ullman mentions, that the hotel was built on an Indian burial ground, isn't in the book. That's one of the many things that's not.
Yeah.
Because if in the book the hotel was built on an Indian burial ground, you can be sure as fuck that Stephen King would not have let you forget it.
Yeah. But I like that the most out of all the things that could possibly be. And we have that, Stuart Ullman, when he says it, giving the tour, that it was built on the Indian burial ground and they had to fight a couple of Indians off while building it. I like... Because that's definitely concrete evidence there from someone.
Yeah.
That's true. So
yeah.
I like the idea
Which
that it's somewhat more tied to that.
Kind of a dick move by the people who built the hotel.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of like somebody coming along and just building a hotel on your cemetery. On the cemetery.
Yeah. It's fucked up. But the elevator's full of their blood, the blood that was shed when they were, trying to fight off the people building it. Stuff like that. That it's somewhat linked to that, and then that's them basically snapping at Jack's brain to be like, no, you got responsibilities, and you just switches him on. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, because there's no concrete way to find out anything, but I like to believe those things are all kind of linked. And I only think that after watching it Thursday. Like, it changes all the time.
Why don't we get a Ouija board and ask Stanley Kubrick what it all meant?
Fuck's sake. I'll just continue forward to something else I've written here, and that's the only thing I don't have an answer for. Everything else in my brain kind of sums up, this is because of this and that's because of that, is I don't have an answer for how the fuck Jack gets out of, like, the food pantry.
Yes, that was what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Because that is a big stickler in the ghost theory. I keep bringing the theory up. I don't believe it. I believe there are ghosts. But I, brought it up because they're interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
That's because I believe that does that happen while Danny is doing his whole red rum spiel?
No, I don't believe it is. It's straight after, Wendy has knocked him over the head and dragged him and put him in there. And she's gone to check, the
Isn't
snowplower
it?
that's, fucked.
It show, but doesn't the door unlock and then it shows the red rum scene?
I don't remember.
The red rum scene comes right before Jack comes to, kill him.
Yeah.
With an axe, unlike in the book where he uses a croquet mallet.
No, when he's saying red rum and draws it on the door, Jack's already out. Like, it's unlocked, and then Danny's walking around. Because as soon as she wakes up, and like, what the fuck, Danny?
Yeah,
he's there with the axe. So, and every time he shines around that part, I dumb it down to he's trying to communicate to Halloran, we need help. That's those seizures and stuff. I just don't have an answer for it. I like you, I like to believe there are ghosts there, but I've always liked to look at it like it's a mental thing. It's not a physical. There are no physical ghosts there, but it's all just a play on his mind and twisting it. And Cabin Fever and just everything kind of rolled up in one.
Yeah.
But it fucks with everything, that door opening. It's like, wait, what?
Because part of the theory is that part of Danny's shining ability was to let Jack out, because I don't know if it's ever established in any other way that Danny's shining ability can do that. I'm pretty sure it isn't.
Well, even with the way that his dad has been and stuff, why would Danny ever want to let Jack out to begin with?
I don't. Yeah, I'm
know that he's there.
Part of the theory is that he's not actually, because part of the theory is that Jack has is unrecognized shining ability of his own, and that's why he could talk to Grady and stuff. That's like his Tony.
Yeah.
But
because it raises so many questions. Yeah, how the fuck that thing even opens? Because he's talking directly to Grady. I don't think it's very much linked to Danny. But
yes,
no, I'd like to believe more on the lines of he's got his own shining ability to be able to do that than link Danny with it.
But he just decides to open all the other doors the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. It just doesn't add up. It's the only scene that fucks with my head every time. It's like, how did he get out?
Because in that scene, it's also that when he's talking to Grady, Grady isn't actually there. He's just a disembodied voice. But Jack is still looking at the shiny metal door.
Probably that's cool. I see the whole thing of mirrors and shiny metal and stuff like that. I hadn't heard that until you told me today, and I like that one too. That every time it's like a reflective surface. He's just seeing Grady within himself and stuff, and I think that's the hotel again, fucking with him. But it just the scene fucks everything. Fucking annoys me. Everything makes sense, but
something I also want to bring up about Grady is that the Grady that Jack sees in the newspaper is Charles Grady, the previous caretaker who murdered his family. But the Grady he speaks to introduces himself as Delbert Grady.
Yeah.
Which Jack doesn't actually notice in the film. He never brings that up, that the name's different.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Okay.
it's possible that they are just that's the ghost and ghost got his name changed for whatever reason.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure. I might have to do with that whole "you've always been the caretaker" here. That there's been multiple Grady's. He's the next one in line. Um,
yeah.
but I want to talk real for a second here. You know that theory on like the Indian like cups of powder can things in the food pantry? That theory?
Calumet.
Yeah, that's it. Um, let's talk real here. What about the Oreo sponsorship? There are so many fucking Oreos.
I know.
And I just wanted to talk about, like, we're going to sidetrack a little bit here, but I want to talk about Oreos as a whole with their sponsorship, because they're the only company I know that does not give a fuck. You know, he's sitting there looking at a mirror.
Weren't they the only company in the Transformers film who had their sponsorship be one of the bad Transformers?
Yes, it was. I was going to mention that. I have Decepticons written here to remember it. Yes. But even, like, Jack's talking to the fucking reflective door to Delbert Grady, and there's Oreos in the background. Like, what the fuck, Oreos? And then and then a vending machine, an Oreo vending machine becomes a Decepticon and fucking straight up kills people. I love Oreo, man. Fucking sponsor me.
I'm just imagining. Because, like, sometimes they, like, play fucking scenes from films and adverts that have, like, the sponsorship.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining
Oreo.
a scene from Transformers. Then it comes up with the Oreos logo, and then, like, whatever their slogan is.
Yeah, it's right as someone's running,
and
then
advert.
the Decepticon's arm just fucking shoots fucking spikes and shit through his chest, lifting him.
And freeze frames.
Yeah, and it freeze frames, and then it's got Oreo.
No, he looked direct to camera and winks.
The Oreo vending machine winks. Yeah, no, if they sponsor that shit, they'd be willing to sponsor me, and I fucking will damn well want a Oreo sponsorship. Fucking oath, man.
Yes.
Because that you could drop the N-word fucking 50 times and they would still sponsor you. It's insane.
I don't know if you could do that.
Are you sure? Saying a word or murder? A fucking Decepticon is killing people with their Oreo branded fucking logo. It's on a robot that's killing people.
Fair.
I'm not sure what other sponsorships they do, but that one always springs to mind. I fucking love it.
Yes.
Yeah, so just the cans, fuck that. No, with Oreos. So I got the whole red rum thing. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool reveal when you see it in the mirror. Just for like that scene there, that like initiates, I guess, the pacing. Everything prior, like the start, the first act, and that, it's all here's locations, here's rooms, here's setup for everything, and everything's kind of then building up to it. And then that scene of, he's saying red rum. He's, Wendy sees murder. Jack starts hacking with the axe. Like, everything is going then. There's no... It's all happening, and you can go to the maze. You can go to all these places, and you know the layout already. But yeah, I reckon the red rum stuff... I like it. I like the reveal. It's a little weird saying red rum all the time out loud. But that's like Tony in full force there.
I believe part of the ghost theory, the video I watched on it, was that the red liquid coming out of the elevator was not actually blood, but it was in fact red rum.
Whoa. Come on, let's not get
just
fucking unrealistic here. Apollo moon landing? Yeah, sure. Holocaust? Maybe. But actually, red rum? It's fucking absurd, dude. Fucking absurd.
And the reasoning he gave for it at the time made a lot more sense than just saying it. But I don't remember what he said. I'll send you the link to that video. And you can watch it on your own time. You can link it in the description if you want. Oh man, I'm just as a teaser. I'm not going to say it outright, but his doggy style theory is top notch.
What? What the fuck?
It's just, that's when you know he belonged in room 237.
Yeah, he did too. Oh, what? That's crazy. That's insane. I don't know if I'll link it, but that's crazy. What else have we got? I've got an idea on, I don't know whether this would improve or take away from the film, but take Halloran as a character out of the equation altogether and never give the audience any hope that, oh, Halloran's coming, he'll save the day, and just have
the thing is, if Halloran never came, then they would have died.
Yeah.
Actually, I reckon they probably still could have survived.
Well, had they go back in the hotel, have them go back in the hotel and Jack still stays lost.
Yeah,
because he just sits down.
Because without Halloran... Oh wait, no, it's because... Actually, in a way, the entire climax would have been different, because at the end, doesn't Jack only see Wendy because she screams at seeing Halloran dead? So the entire climax would have been different, wouldn't it?
I'm just thinking, Jack only gives up and sits down in the snow when he hears the actual, like, snowplow thing heading off, like it's starting, when it's starting up. But,
yeah.
I wonder if...
Just, like, even before that, though, you can already tell, like, he ain't gonna make it, because, he gets lost in the maze.
But yeah, I was just thinking, if you take Halloran out of the equation, how differently would it play out? And that give the audience no hope that Halloran's coming to save the day, and just have... Because it's as soon as Halloran's dead, and Jack's yelling Danny, and he comes out of, like, the metal cupboards where, you know, shit's kept for cleaning dishes, stuff like that, whatever, cooking. And he gets out, and then they both are, like, chasing each other. Well, Jack's chasing him, that camera angle and shit, it's intense. If you had more of that, this feeling of this dude is coming after you and being more in Danny's shoes, that, holy fuck, run, kid. You know?
No,
you make that more intense. That there is...
That works just fine how it is. So you don't need to take Halloran out of that to make that good. It's because you get that hope that Halloran is going to come and save the day. And then that hope is dashed, and then it becomes, like, that's when you realize...
Yeah, or with Jack, straight after he's dead, he kind of looks up at the camera with his hair all fucked up. It's like, oh, shit, we're all fucked here.
Yeah,
it's
and
really
also,
good.
if you took Halloran out of it, I'm pretty sure Jack wouldn't have killed anyone in the entire film.
Really?
Because Halloran is the only guy who dies in the film. As far as I remember, it's the only one Jack kills.
No, I've just thought about it in a different way, that even with Grady in the bathroom, if he didn't say that his son was trying to contact somebody, and that they were just staying in the hotel, he wouldn't have been inclined to kill them.
Yeah.
Halloran, it was Halloran all along.
It was Halloran's fault.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a play on the film to just take him out of the film and just to see how that would have played out. Because I think he still could have gotten lost in the maze, frozen to death, and then they could have gone back inside the hotel and stayed there for the night and then figured something out. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess they would have just, hung out in the hotel until people came back, and then they'd be like, hey guys,
Don't go in the maze.
About that
Don't go in there.
Yeah, about that caretaker. It's like, whew, that like they're picking up their coats, putting on their hats, and walking out the door.
Yeah. Okay, it's time for us to go now, Danny. With all the suitcases at the front door.
Yes.
Sorry, the next point here, I've had like a small paragraph or a sentence to kind of sum up whatever the next point is. But for this, it's just 2 words with a full stop that take up an entire page that just read bare fellatio.
Bare fellatio.
Yeah. I don't know what
Moving on from that, the skeleton room.
I have no idea what it has to do with anything. I don't think it has some deep meaning. I think it's just she's seeing past elements of the hotel, like the skeletons, things like that.
And that sexual experience was so fucking awesome that the ghosts are forced to relive it until the end of time.
Wow. I mean, I think it's just that, and that it's just things that have happened, but it's
also
weird.
The
choice,
implied fucking cock and ball torture that's going on for that man, because that mask has teeth. That mask has a lot of teeth.
This man's talking about The Shining and how it's a good movie, not cock and ball torture, okay? See, you can say that, and Oreo would still sponsor us.
Yeah, but I love how Wendy comes along, she sees it,
yeah,
and then that guy just leans forward, and he just gives her this look. It's like, fucking hell.
He's like, can we have some privacy? Like,
they were the ones who left the fucking door open. It's their fault.
Their fault. Alright, that's all we have to say on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wendy sees some shit. That's what I've got next, which is, she sees the blood elevator finally happening.
Oh, she doesn't see the blood elevator, but she's at the elevator and she sees the butler who got struck in the head with lightning.
Because my kid draw it. Please, I'm not crazy. Put me in the film. I need an excuse. Oh, fuck. No, she sees the elevator. She comes around the corner and then sees it finally open, and then it just floods out everywhere.
Oh, I don't remember her seeing the blood.
Yeah, now she's like running, and he's like, nice party, and fucking tenor in this corner.
Great party, isn't it?
Yeah, great party, isn't it?
Because that is, I mean, you could see that as a callback to when, she's first in the ballroom, and she says, oh, you could have a great party in here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shit, it is too, isn't it? Yeah, I like to think it's that the hotel's been playing shit on everybody except her the whole
and
film.
Then,
and when she's finally vulnerable enough and, like, fucked up enough...
Yeah, because I like thinking of that as a callback. Because that's basically that guy saying, fuck you. But this ain't what you expected.
So much happening. Blood elevator. His, cracked lightning head. Fucking the room full of skeletons. And I think that's just, more past of the hotel stuff.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, at what point was the hotel abandoned for long enough that there were skeletons everywhere?
I think it's more...
And like that in that scene, the hotel looks like it's in complete disarray. There are cobwebs everywhere. The lights are all off.
I think it's more that's people who have died there before. You know what I mean? Or like how it's gone on for generations and generations.
If you think about that, because like that's that's like what I interpret the ball scene as. Those are the spirits of all the
Yeah.
people who died there, and they're just having a fucking great time. I would have died in this hotel.
At the same time, how did it ever come that that many people died? All these rich people, did they all die there? What happened?
because the thing is, Stuart Altman also, I mean, like, sure, you could interpret it as him like being the manager and not wanting to mention the fact that every caretaker has murdered their entire family before a guy accepts a job as a caretaker with his entire family.
No, I think you're right in that it's not it's not that.
He mentions that he implies that Grady, what he did, isn't something that happened all the time.
Yeah, no, I reckon you're right in that it happened once before, and then just the seed of that idea is kind of played on, and then the hotel vamps it up and puts it in Jack's face towards the end of the film. I reckon it would make more sense if at one point they were having this ball party and then the place burnt down, or a part of it did, and it killed all those people, rich fat cats there or something. I don't know, I've got no evidence at all, but...
Yeah, I feel like that would have been hinted at a little more strongly if,
yeah.
You know. Because, like,
I mean,
Jack didn't come in and say, hey, is this that place where, like 500 rich people just disappeared?
Yeah. Well, that's... Yeah. But, yeah.
Because that sounds like the kind of story that would go around.
Oh, it was just a random idea I came up with on the fly, that's all. But for all these people, why are they all dead? Why are they all here? You know, I understand the girls and maybe seeing Delbert Grady or something, but not all these rich fat cats. That's the way I put it, because they're all dressed very nicely in the gold room and all that. Because I'm only thinking about it now. It's never explained all those people.
The lady from the bathtub.
Yeah.
Not the one in my house, the one in the film.
You really caught me off guard with that one. Jesus Christ.
She is in the book, and it's explained that she is a lady who committed suicide in the bathtub in the hotel.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why her ghost is there, but,
I think it makes more sense that a lot of people... It's like how Halloran says that, you know, a lot of things have happened in this hotel and only people who shine can see them. But, I reckon to some extent, a lot of horrible things have happened.
Like some guy burned toast.
Yeah, like shit like that. It's fucking haunting. And, and...
that's what he meant when he brought that up.
It just doesn't add up that everybody from that ballroom is there, you know?
Maybe it's just that those people died elsewhere completely unrelated to the hotel, and ghosts still like to visit the hotel just as much as the living people do.
Maybe so. So Wendy sees some shit. Yes, that's where we were.
Yes. I was actually right about to bring up the fact that the gold room couldn't possibly exist, because the exterior shots of the hotel don't show anywhere that a room that big with no windows could be.
Yeah. Well, that helps play into the theory of, like, that's the room Jack enters to then give himself to the hotel. That's all a hallucination. Like.
Yeah, but because
you know they're in it before.
If I remember. Oh yeah, and there's also something I wanted to bring up. Mirrors again, and the gold room, pretty related. Because also there's a mirror behind the bar when he's talking to Void. But yeah. Okay.
No, that's cool.
But also, when he's walking to the gold room, I'm pretty sure for the first time, maybe it's the second time, that hallway he's walking through. You know how he does those like jitters, where he's like shakes his fist in anger.
Right at every mirror. In every mirror,
he does it every time he walks past one of the mirrors.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. So that's another thing with the mirrors. To bring
fuck,
up.
we have been going for ages. We're not even at room 237 yet. Well, we'll keep going on.
Maybe we could save the room 237 discussion for another time.
Nah.
We'll just talk about the good one.
So the last thing I've got here is the abrupt cut to Frozen Jack, which is haunting as shit. I really like that.
I love that.
And then straight away, wastes no time, it then cuts to the final lingering shot, as it slowly zooms in with the music from the gold room and stuff. And it's just one of the greatest scenes in cinema. Like, it raises so many questions. It's given people so many discussions, theories. I don't know what the fuck it means. Jack's always been the caretaker. That's all I take from it. But
I feel like something that you could also take from it is that Jack was added to the photo, because we didn't see the photo before that. I believe it quickly pans past a heap of similar photos, but I don't think that one's there.
Nah.
Maybe if you stop, you'd be able to see it, and that would...
There's no way you'd ever be able to tell whether Jack's on there or not.
Yeah. Not without seeing it in clear enough detail. But you could interpret that as him being added to the photo as one of the souls the hotel's claimed.
Yeah, that's what I like to
think too. So, if the ghosts are real, then his would be there.
Yeah, well, that's what I like to take that as well. He's just become another part of it.
Would see this absolute crazy man and be like, well, that guy killed his family and he's trying to get me to kill his family. And now I'm not going to do it. I was going to, but I don't want to do what this guy wants me to do. And then everyone's safe and it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
Because nobody else murders their family because Jack makes it look so unappealing.
Yeah, he failed. He fucked up.
Yeah.
First one to not do it, and now look at how bad it went for him. So that's all the notes I have on The Shining, and we'll just slide right over to room 237. So we've got the Tom Cruise opening. I forgot he was in this film. I mean, I'm sure it's clips from another movie, because it's like how they show clips from The Shining, but on the television it's The Shining that they're watching. Things like that. They just edit those things.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is just the theories from the film and, talking about their merit and how they hold up. So, the
and
Calumet...
a few of them we've glossed over already.
Yeah. Like the Calumet, peace treaty, Indian burial grounds, all that stuff. The Holocaust theory with the typewriter and the number 42. I don't know.
I don't. When he mentioned, the number 42 is the Holocaust, I was like, that kind of threw me off for a second. I wasn't entirely sure what he meant by that, but then good thing he cleared it up. It's like, oh yeah, it's the year, I guess.
But later in the film, it in the film Room 237, it shows 42 everywhere. All sorts of other places that was briefly mentioned at the start.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I would say a lot of it's just fucking coincidences. It's a German typewriter. It's like, well, a lot of this stuff in the hotel.
Everybody knows the best engineering is German.
Jeez. But yeah, I'd say it's all coincidence. But 42 shows up a fuck ton in this film. Holy shit, it shows up a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, the next line I have here is paper tray penis. Sorry. That one's just fucking out of his mind.
Yes, a straight-on, raging hard-on.
The only
thing... are the words he used.
The only part of that I don't mind taking away from is the whole thing of subliminal messages and stuff. Because of the way... not that there is subliminal messages, but the way that certain shots are done in The Shining and presented to the audience. You know, with Jack being frozen just abruptly, or it flashing back and forth between Danny, and then all of a sudden it cuts to the dead girls in the hallway, and then back to normal again. Those just images. So I don't mind the whole thing about subliminal stuff. You know, I've got no fucking idea whether Stanley Kubrick ever fucking put any, effort into trying to find.
Somehow I doubt that Stanley Kubrick was like, yes, Mr. guy who plays Mr. Orman, when you get up to shake Jack's hand, can you stand exactly here? And then the guy asks why, and Stanley Kubrick's just like, trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. Yeah, that's a Stanley Kubrick quote if I've ever heard one. It's like you were there.
Yes.
Going on with other crazy people, we have the cloud theory, of course. That's mentioned that. It's
which was brought up by the same guy, like immediately, because that guy says, "Oh, I got heaps of these, but I'll give you one," and then he goes.
Yeah. You're like, okay, all right. What is it? What is this theory? And he's like, all right, see that? Raging hard on.
And then,
see,
and then he just straight up he's like, okay, yeah, but I'm not done yet. And I'm like, God, I was really hoping that was it. What have you got for me now, crazy man?
Oh shit. The other one I like, that's just below it here, I have in the notes, is the change in layout of the building itself.
Yes, that is a theory that I like.
Me too.
But it pissed me off in no end. I explained this to Blake before the podcast started, but it pissed me off so much. The footage they show of the maps, the camera angle does not stay from a bird's eye view. It moves to like an angle, but the text isn't flat on the map, it's raised above it, and because of the angle, you cannot read the text anymore because it's gone off screen, and you're just looking at a bunch of colored squares. And I'm like, I didn't have time to read the text because it was only up for like 2 seconds, so I have no clue what this is. But then I realized all those colored squares is just like the tables and chairs in like that main room that Jack does his typewriting in. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought that was the map of the whole hotel. It's incomprehensible. It looks like modern art.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for me, it's like what you said with the gold room, that it can't fit in the building. And the other part in the film room 237, that when Danny's riding his bike, he's moving from different floors. Like you see the pane windows on the left. That makes sense, and it's,
it doesn't make sense, but know.
But it makes sense that that's a higher floor, but he's presented on a lower floor.
That part of the theory is, it's sound. It's based on information in the film, unlike some other people in room 237.
Yeah.
Because isn't that the same lady who brings up lightning? I hesitate to call it the lightning theory because it was something her crackhead son came up with.
I just like the idea of the layout not ever being concrete. Like it shows you, oh, here's this room, here's this one, all before you leave, but then things start changing. And I love the impossible window. I like that.
Yes, in Ullman's office.
Yeah, the window that's overly bright and really bearing with these bushes that aren't seen anywhere else. But that, when you're following Wendy to then turn left, you can see there's no fucking window. It can't exist there.
But that's not the only impossible window, because in that main room that we've, just been touching on, the hallway that's behind... I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the hallway that the door that's just behind where Jack types, that hallway is the one that leads to the gold room, isn't it? Is that the same hallway? Because
I don't know. because the layout is fucked.
Yeah, no, but I'm pretty sure it's always Jack walks through that door. Jack walks towards that door, and then it cuts to him in the hallway walking towards the gold room. Jack would then, Jack walks out, and then he is walking down that hallway, and then he makes a left turn into the gold room. But if he made a left turn, and those hallways connect the way I think they do, then he should be behind the window in the main room, but he's in the gold room, which obviously can't see from inside. Which leads into my theory that Stanley Kubrick is an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing.
That's what it is.
He's just a fucking idiot who doesn't. Because
he just accidentally made the whole film, like Tommy Wiseau trying to make The Room. He just stumbled his way through it and went, "Oh fuck! Yeah. Actually, this blew up. I didn't mean for any of this, but cool."
The Shining, that famously so bad it's good film.
No, I like to believe that the Calumet cans and shit. He would just had to quickly run down to the grocery store and just buy something to put in the shelves. Grabbed a pack of Oreos and shit. It was all unintentional.
Yeah, I mean the Calumet one might have happened exactly as you just described it.
I just like to think that everything was an accident.
Yeah.
That she wasn't supposed to hit Jack on the head with the bat.
Yeah, but there's also things like when Jack looks at the maze of the little sculpture or whatever of the hedge maze.
Yeah.
That layout of the maze is not based on what we see inside the hedge maze.
Yeah.
Because we see them. We see Wendy and Danny playing in it.
Yeah.
But I heard this theory elsewhere. I heard somebody explain it elsewhere based on using the actual maps. But she makes, I believe they enter and then they make a left turn, and then almost immediately after that a right turn, and then it cuts to whatever. But that little spot where they are doesn't exist on the map.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, maybe that map was the one Stanley Kubrick gave to the people making the film. That Joker.
Oh fuck. But yeah, it's even with you see it in the documentary that even when Halloran's explaining the freezer and where all that stuff is, that he's walking in and out of the wrong places in the kitchen, and it's just everywhere. And I do like the whole play on the layout not working, but I don't think it should be a massive, this is what it all means. I just like that detail that adds to the film.
Yeah, no, I like that because it makes it a bit more surreal. Because it makes it harder to tell where everyone is in relation to each other, for one.
Yeah.
And it also makes it hard to tell where they can actually go to leave.
Yeah, it's just like a maze. Yeah, I like the idea that as soon as you enter this hotel, it's fucking with your head. Everything, the layout, everything. What it presents.
Maybe fucking for all we know, that map of the maze is not actually the hedge maze, it's the hotel itself. Because that big clearing in the middle of the maze, which could be, either the main room where Jack types or the gold room, or fuck. I came up with that on the spot. It's probably got no merit to it whatsoever.
A lot of the shit I've come up with today has no merit at all. I just like talking about it and thinking about it. But yeah, it's so good.
But
it's so good. I love The Shining. And I got one more thing from room 237 here, which is the Apollo moon landing being faked. And what a fucking theory. I was skeptical when watching the film until I saw Danny with the sweater, and I watched that film like a hawk. He knew what he was onto, and he openly says that he's not like a film fanatic or anything like that, but he is like a moon landing respect activist type of person, and just watched it. And went, hang on, this can help prove my theory. But it's when
so why? Okay, sure, all right, I'll give him that the moon landing was fake. But why would he assume that Stanley Kubrick had anything to do with it?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy theory.
And,
I love, I love
does
when
it
he
not make does it not make sense for a kid to wear a fucking spaceship sweater a couple years after the moon landing?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Like,
I know.
He's probably just cool and into spaceships, just like Gru was in Despicable Me.
See, well, this is where again I look at it like it's crazy. This theory, no way, they actually have any correlation with the film and what the film means. The whole film doesn't mean, faking the Apollo moon landing, but that it's a testament to how far The Shining as a film has pushed people to think, with theories and just, you go, fucking hell, this movie is insane. It's made people think of this and that, and you see, oh yeah, I kind of see what you're looking at, like with the Holocaust maybe, but it's, it's not the case, but it's interesting. Yeah. And then
I'd say that Room 237 drove me insane, but not quite in the same way.
Yeah, that was more. I laughed more than I should have, much more than I should have.
Yes. Just, can you hear my son? Give me a second, and then it's just silent. It's just silence for like 3 seconds, and I was sitting there thinking, are they not going to cut this? I was expecting like 45 seconds, and then he'd come back and he'd be like, okay, I'm back.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, but then it cuts to him being back. But
yeah.
They decided to cut the empty space, but why didn't they just cut the baby out entirely?
Yeah, there was something here I wanted to bring up with the moon theory. And that it's when he's talking about the key number, room 237, and it just says room NO, for the old abbreviation for number. And he's like, the only... Yeah, and the only thing, he's going on about is how, those letters, like the room number, all it can be rearranged to spell is moon. You know what else it spells? Moron.
More. Also moron.
Moron. Fucking...
But maybe it actually means more, as in MOOR, as in a tract of open, uncultivated upland, typically covered with heather. Maybe.
I just thought it was really funny. I was sitting there last night, like, if you rearrange those letters, it doesn't just spell room and moon. It spells moron, you fucking idiot. I just thought that was good. Otherwise, that's all the notes I got. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This movie makes you think. Even today, not just talking about other people's theories, but our own, and coming up with new ideas on the fly. It's just phenomenal. And I'm probably going to go and fucking watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh, this talk of The Shining, and it's just... It is, like, even though I tried to come up with a couple different ideas and how maybe some things could have been done better, you can't. It's fucking flawless. It's one of the only films I know that I just... You can't change anything. There's no problems with it because it's too hard to define what an actual problem would be with the film. It's like the way, like, every shot feels like you could not get a second take that looked exactly like what that shot did. It just doesn't feel like, you can go, oh, that's not that great and that's not that great either, but nothing's an accident. It's meant to be like that. It's not a flaw or a mistake. Because this guy doesn't make mistakes.
Like, those shots of Danny... That shot of Danny riding his tricycle is one continuous shot that Like, there's no way that was a mistake made on set.
Nah.
Like,
You know,
it's
you got
too obvious that he's switched floors.
you got two
That,
shots where it follows you real closely on the bike to try and give a bit of layout
Because the
and
thing
idea.
is, it was either edited that way, like it may be, because I don't know, I couldn't see anywhere that it could have been cut, but even if it was, that would actually further prove that it was an intentional choice that he cut it so that he's on the second floor.
Oh yeah, well,
but
I just even how the third time you see him on the bike, the camera is much further away. You're not with Danny. You're someone watching Danny. You're following him very slowly. All these things are intentional. There's no mistakes. Even the bloody bear fellatio thing, that's there for a reason. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, these guys are on set. Yeah, throw them on fucking on the camera. Like that was intentional. Why?
You know, in the book, there was the guy in the dog mask who comes up a bit. But like most things in the book, it was explained to an excruciating degree. What he was all about.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah,
man.
But with the things we were talking about, you can't necessarily say this film even has flaws. Because it's intentional. He didn't think he made a single mistake. I don't think there's a single pacing issue. There's not an editing problem. The music's phenomenal. Fucking watch it again. I've seen it like 1,000 times, and I'm gonna watch it again.
Watch it again.
Yeah, and then like there's even the tiny thing we didn't mention this. In room 237 with the chair that just goes missing behind Jack when the camera cuts.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a continuity issue. I think it was intentional.
That's actually the one you just reminded me. I actually think that might have been an error. Maybe in between takes, one guy just got tired of standing.
He just quickly took the chair. It's just because it feels like one flowing shot of, them having a conversation, too quick for it to be cut or moved, or it feels too natural of a conversation for there to be an invisible cut there. But even so, it's just for me that adds more to the ever shifting layout of the hotel. I don't know. Fuck, I love this movie. But we've been running for ages now. It's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, so I think it's time for us to shut the fuck up now.
Perhaps.
Like you said last week, make sure you watch this while you're driving. Hopefully, I didn't say anything too cringy to set you off that would drive you to drive into a tree.
Yes,
or an
that's
oncoming
a good
truck.
way to tell.
Yeah.
That's the cringe test. Before you upload all of these, we should have somebody watch them while driving. And then we know if it's too cringe.
Yeah, no, the podcast goes up if they succeeded.
Yes.
This podcast has never seen the light of day on YouTube now. Alright, I think that'll do it. Is there any other thoughts you have? Anything else you wanted to bring up just before we go?
No, not really.
No. If you haven't seen it and we ruined the entire thing, still go and watch it. Fucking go to your local Blockbuster and rent it on DVD. Because that's still a thing. Yes. Did I mention this podcast was originally filmed in 2010? Yes. Get it on tape. Get it on good old VHS. Punch it straight into that television. He saw it on the television. Cannibalism. Alright. Thank you everybody so much for coming and joining us. Though, despite the bullshit. And hope you've learned something new about the film at least. I mean, I know I fucking have. I do every time I talk about it. And whatever theories or ideas you've got, put those down in the comments below. I want to hear some shit. Hopefully, someone has an idea on something.
Yeah.
Reality is, I will get nothing but nothing. That's what I'll get. Yeah. Maybe you'll leave a comment. You like to leave comments. They're always nice. Yeah, they always say like, fuck off and die. Shit like that. Yeah, like it's motivational to me. Alright, we're gonna go. It's gone on way too long. Alright, good night everybody. See you next time on the internets. Yes, people of the internet. Alright, goodbye.
Join us next time when we watch Schindler's List. That's not what we're gonna be watching.
No, we're not. No.
Funny movie of the week is Room 237. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, that's funny movie of the week, and and we'll see you guys all next time.
See you. Have fun.
Yep. Don't watch it. But watch The Shining. Not Room 237.
Yes.
Skip that. Watch The Shining.
Okay.
Alright.
We're supposed to finish this 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Alright. Goodbye, everybody.
So.